Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to our brand new show, Selling the 831. This is a real estate talk show. We are broadcasting live from KSCO 1080 AM in Santa Cruz, California. I am your host, Monica Wason. If this is your first time tuning in, this is my fourth show, or better yet, Season 1, Episode 4. I am an active realtor with a broker's license. I own a real estate brokerage, which is called M Square Realty Group. M Square, what we call it for short, is a boutique brokerage, meaning we are not associated with any umbrella brand or franchise. Because M Square is self-originating, it gives me creative freedom in messaging, which allows me to be here speaking with you. I'll be hosting the show every Thursday from 2 to 3 p.m. If you want to look me up on my website, it is sellingthe831.com, no spaces, just type it in like it's all one word, sellingthe831.com. You can also Google me, Monica Wason. Wason is with one S, and you'll get a variety of hits. And I'm especially excited. I finally made it to be on the KSCO app. I know they're still working on it, but I'm hoping the previous shows can make their way on there. We've blasted on one of our sellers' home in Moss Landing for sale on the first and second episodes. And last week we had a guest from PG&E come out. So far it's been really fun doing this. I hope you enjoyed listening. Hopefully you take away some good info. I encourage you to call into the station to discuss anything real estate related, and I'll do my best to answer any questions. The number here at KSCO is 831-479-1080. Please join in the conversation. I'd love to hear any buyer or seller experience you're currently in or were in, especially if you've been a client of mine. My ultimate goal is to help people buy and sell homes. Of course, in today's world, we need to have a legal disclosure. So this show is for entertainment purposes only and not intended to be construed as legal or investment advice. Okay, first off, let's give you a Santa Cruz market update. Today is February 2nd, and 14 homes were sold in the city of Santa Cruz last month in January, which is 55% down from the 31 sales the month before in December. Days on market rose to 46 last month from 27 in December, and we had an increase of listings. 17 new listings popped up in January versus 12 from the previous month. Okay, so what does all that mean? Well, the housing market has shifted. It's slowed down, and this shift is in response to buyers being offered loans with higher mortgage rates. As buyer demand has eased, the number of homes for sale has grown. As a seller, you'll want to recognize the shift and price your home appropriately based on the status of our current market. So, even though homes are sitting for approximately 46 days before selling, the takeaway is they are selling. And yes, some homes sell quicker than others, but the homes that are selling quicker in today's market are the homes that are priced right from the beginning. I'm going to gear this conversation more towards today's seller. So if you're currently selling your home or you're planning on selling soon, then I'm directing today's show to you. Let's first discuss pricing your home right, and then we'll talk about marketing. So if you're currently a seller and your home is one of those for sale in that median length of time on the market for 46 days, and it's been sitting without much action, meaning you have not received any offers, slow open houses from the start, or no showings at all, no private showings, then I'd pose the question, did you set your house price or did your realtor? Pricing right is important because it will help you receive stronger offers, and have a greater chance that your house will sell quickly. Okay, so let's begin with the listing appointment. A typical listing appointment goes like this. The seller has found a realtor and expresses interest in selling their home. Then that agent gets prepared. By the way, I use agent and the term realtor interchangeably. An agent is someone with a real estate salesperson license, and a realtor is a trademark name for someone also with a real estate salesperson license that is also a member of the National Association of Realtors. But for today's discussion, they're one and the same. Okay, so seller has found a realtor and expresses interest in selling their home. Then that agent gets prepared. What we do is we balance the value of homes in your neighborhood. In other words, we run comps. We look at current market trends. We figure in the buyer demand and also factor in the condition of your house. We take all this plus any other standout features of your home and figure out a price range. We'll have a low to high spectrum. If the home is in poor condition, it goes on the lower end of the spectrum, and a higher price if the home is in excellent upgraded condition. After the agent does this research, an appointment is scheduled with the seller. The agent then goes to the seller's home, views the condition of the home, then has a discussion about the market value in which he or she came up with. And hopefully the seller likes what they hear, and the listing agreement is signed. Okay, that's a perfect scenario. All this preparation made by the agent can get blown up if the seller dictates the price and overshoots and wants to sell at a higher price that is not supported by comps or the market. I see this happen usually when the seller has been in the home for a while. For some homeowners, it's hard to separate the emotional value of the house from fair market price. As a seller, you may have an emotional attachment to the home. Maybe it's the first home you bought, or it's the home where your kids grew up. I get it. Every room has memories. It's hard to detach from the sentimental value. So, going back to my question, who set the listing price, the seller or the agent? If, during that listing appointment, the seller has this expectation that their home is worth way more than what the agent has come up with, well, some agents, not all, won't disagree with the seller. The overly eager agent that wants that listing really bad will recall that slogan, "The customer is always right." And because they have that, say, overly eager agent syndrome, they will do a disservice to the seller and gladly agree and oblige in hopes to get the listing. Well, I'm going to tell you what realistically happens if that's the case. Some sellers know that pricing high is a risk, but the common thought from the seller is, well, I'm not in a hurry to sell, or maybe we'll get that price. Let's just see. Well, true. Maybe you will, but there are several risks you're taking of pricing your home too high. So let's go through them. One risk, while we're, and I say we, I'm meaning the seller and the realtor, because we are now a team, while we're just waiting and seeing if we get any bites, we don't. Our listing most likely gets ignored, or it gets placed in the wait and see category of the buyers. And if this happens, your home will sell for less than it would have if it was priced appropriately. That's right. You are risking selling it for less, and I'm going to explain how. Let's say it takes you I don't know, 3, 4, 5 months or more to sell your home. The market may not cooperate with you. You may be forced to take a price at a much lower offer than your original asking price. Okay, so let me explain. So for instance, say you, the seller, priced your home to sell at $700,000. And yes, I realize that's super low for Santa Cruz, but just go with me here. All that research your agent did for you, they priced your home at $650,000. But you, the seller, wanted to see if you got the higher price. Well, your home did not sell while all the other homes around you did. Now, several months later, the market is favoring the buyers even more, and now the average home price is $625,000. This $625,000 is the price you are now forced to take. So pricing it too high, waiting and seeing, just cost you, because you could have sold your home for $650,000. Another risk, while you're waiting and seeing, you're continuing to pay your mortgage payment. Every month your home remains on the market, you're making that payment. Every month it goes unsold, you're just pouring money into the home, and you will not get that back. If there are no takers month after month, you're just giving money away that you shouldn't have to. There's also the risk of stress. I mean, if losing money isn't stressful enough, failing to sell your home promptly is enough to lower the spirits of anyone, making it even harder to keep up appearances. And by appearances, I mean maintaining a home in showroom condition. You are setting your home's price to get the maximum sum of money you can, but it has to be in pristine condition to attract buyers. For example, clean floors, vacuumed carpets, clean windows, kitchens, bathrooms, no clutter, landscaping. All of these things must be maintained for your home to shine. This level of cleanliness, I'm not saying isn't doable. It is doable for most people for a month or maybe 3, but can you keep it up for 4 months or longer? Last point I want to make about pricing too high is that there is no negotiating up. Okay, let me amplify that. With your home being priced above market value, meaning too high of a price, there is no negotiating up with your potential buyer, not in our current market. So, if your home is currently on the market, being priced too high could be one of the reasons your home is sitting, or, as us in the biz call it, a stale listing. The number here is 831-479-1080 if you want to chime in. We are broadcasting live, and I want to hear about any buyer or seller experiences you have or had. Again, that's 831-479-1080. If you're thinking of selling your house soon, and you're in the mindset of what your neighbors sold their home for, say, this time last year, then you'll want to adjust your expectations. As I mentioned, this market is favoring the buyers right now. The year before, as well as this time last year, is a very different market. And when you have that initial listing appointment with your agent, I'm sure you'll have a number in your head that you want to sell for, but first ask the agent what they believe your home should be priced at and why. Realtors are taking in your home with an unbiased eye and not having any emotional value on it, giving you a realistic listing price to sell your home quickly. Okay, let's switch over to marketing. With technology the way it is, an online presence really is key. The largest group of buyers today is the millennial buyer. today, time is not a luxury a lot of people have. And buyers are out there looking online first. Usually, if the buyers don't like what they see online, they're not making the trip out. So here's the buyer's mindset. First, they're scrolling online. They see a home that sparks some interest. Then they check out the photos. Okay, photos look good. I see it's by the beach. Now they're thinking, let's check out the video. Ooh, okay. The video is giving me beach vibes. There's catchy music. There's an agent talking to me, telling me all about the house. And then, now I'm seeing I could do a 3D walkthrough. Yes, okay, I like it. I like it enough to do a drive-by. By the way, if this buyer is working with an agent and your home is priced too high, guess what? That agent isn't even showing your home to their client. That agent definitely saw your listing and knew it was overpriced, so they just put your home in the wait for the price reduction column. So we'll get to that soon. So if you're a current seller that is in the group that their home is on the market for, let's say it's been over 30 days without any offers, look at your listing online. Look at the quality of your photos. Were they professionally done? Real estate photographers really capture the best qualities of the home. And then something to think about, a lot of buyers just scrolling through the pictures before they read any description, so keep that in mind. You want to grab those buyers by having the photos of your home present nicely. So this is actually the perfect segue to introduce my guest, Isaiah from Red Heifer Productions. Hi, Isaiah. Welcome.
Yeah. Hi, Monica. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming. Tell us a little bit about your business.
Yeah. So a little bit about me. I've been in media for ever since 2018. Started as a passion project and quickly evolved to full-time career. So Red Heifer Productions is a full-service real estate marketing company, and we're based in Santa Cruz. We specialize in listing photography, videography, 3D Matterport tours, custom listing websites, cinematic agent profile videos, virtual staging, and more. So essentially, we are a young team of creatives helping agents and their listings stand out in a super competitive market like you just announced to us. So yeah, that's a little bit about us in a nutshell. So yeah, thanks so much for having me on. Super excited.
Yeah, thank you for coming out. So how we met is one of my agents, Christina Cervantes, hired Isaiah recently to take pictures of her listing out at Moss Landing, and you did such a great job. I mean, seriously, it was the first time we used you. It was very impressive. So, and I believe you have another shoot coming up with us, right, for like a coming soon listing that we have.
Yeah. So we're going to be shooting that property tomorrow, actually. So super excited for that as well.
Oh, nice. I cannot wait to see.
Yeah.
So, Isaiah, tell me the difference between what the average person that points and clicks with their cell phone camera and what you do, or what you and your team do.
Yeah, that's a great question. And so, and just for the listeners here, maybe if they're at home or at a computer, they can see some of the marketing we did for your property at 8504 Laguna Place. And so beautiful property, remodeled home, overlooking Moss Landing Beach. And so, yeah, to your question, right? I mean, what is the difference between someone that points and clicks versus professional real estate marketing? And so there's a lot of different factors. And so for one, all our photos are shot on a commercial camera. And so every single shot is bracketed into 3 photos and then blended in Photoshop. So what that does is that allows us to get perfect exposure on every single photo we deliver to the agent. And so little inside secret here, secret of the trade. a lot of times you see these beautiful homes in Carmel or Seaside or Salinas, and they're just sitting on the market because they don't have professional photography. And you click on the MLS, you see the home, and it may be a beautiful kitchen, but the windows are all blown out. You can't see outside the windows. And so how we really mitigate that is we blend every single photo in Photoshop. So if you see 8504 Laguna Place, you see the marketing on there, you can see how the kitchen is nice, it's bright, it's crisp, and you can also see out those windows perfectly. You can see the beautiful ocean views, the landscaping. So every photo is going to be super important to captivating that potential buyer. And so, believe it or not, little interesting fact here, professional photography actually sells homes 32% faster than the average home that is just point and click, like you mentioned. So, kind of interesting when we factor all these things into, how you're presenting the home and putting it on the market and, all of the details that kind of funnel into that, right, as far as marketing goes.
Man, I totally agree. I mean, yeah, you could just tell when you're looking on the MLS and you see, like if you're looking online at all the photos of the homes on for sale, you can tell the ones that are cell phone pics. So, yeah. You also did a neat drone pic for us. It was like this aerial view of the Moss Landing home and how close it is in proximity to the beach. Mm-hmm. And I loved how you used those place markers, kind of like those like Google little place markers to label like, oh, this is the house and this is the beach. Is that something you normally do, or do people normally ask for that?
Yeah, great question. So, all our drone pilots are drone certified professionals, so that is absolutely a service we offer to all our agents. Like you said, it's a great way to show the property in relation to local amenities. So, for the Moss Landing home, it was Moss Landing Beach right there. It showed you just how close and walking distance you are to Moss Landing Beach. And so, we love to add those call-outs to, maybe it's not just the beach, but it's coffee shops or restaurants or, great local parks and things like that. So absolutely a great option for all of our clients.
So does the client tell you what landmark they want to highlight, or do you suggest it, or how does that work?
Yeah, so it really depends. Sometimes before the shoot, what we'll do is we'll do a little homework on the property, see what's around, what's popular, great restaurants, parks, amenities, things like that. And so we usually ask the agent first, hey, if you want call-outs for 3 photos, what do you kind of want us to show the property in relation to? If they don't really know, sometimes we'll make some suggestions and just kind of go from there.
Okay, yeah. And then tell us a little bit about your 3D walkthrough, because we had you do that as well. So, how to tell, because I don't know, maybe some of the listeners probably have never even heard of that if they're not really like looking on the market or actively looking for homes.
Sure. Yeah, so 3D tours are becoming more and more popular each year. I mean, we saw a huge boom in the 3D tour world when COVID hit. So every year they're becoming more popular. And so this allows potential buyers to virtually walk through the home and even imagine themselves living in the home, right? So, and 63% of people who bought a home in 2020 actually made an offer on a property based on a virtual tour. So it's a great option to add value to your listings and to really showcase yourself as a high quality agent. So we love the virtual tours, very affordable way to have that potential buyer like really envision themselves in the property.
Right. So for all of you that don't know, it's kind of like Google Maps, right? But in the home, because you kind of like point like, oh, I want to go down the hall. Like, let me point down the hall.
Yeah.
And then, oh, I want to turn left. And then you kind of like point into that room. And then you get to actually have like a full like 360 degree of the room, right?
Totally. Yeah. Point and click, just like how you said. Yeah, you get a full sphere of the environment you're in, which is the property.
Yeah, but the best part that I think is it even kind of like measures out the floor plan and makes a floor plan, right? Like, I think you call it the dollhouse view, or
No, you're absolutely on the right track. Yeah, so with the 3D Matterport tour, that is, if you use that option and you want to go that route, that also comes with a 2D floor plan, right? So you're able to have just another layout of the home, which is that typical construction blueprint model. So, really important for, guys in the trades who need to be able to fit a certain amount of tools, or they have a table saw and they need to make sure all of their equipment can fit in the garage or certain rooms, really showcasing the measurements of the home.
Yeah, because it works out really well, because I know like a lot of our clients love it because they're like, oh, will my couch fit in this living room, or do I need to buy a new couch, or like do the kids' beds fit, or how can we play with this? And it actually helps if you have sellers that live in the home, because then the buyers aren't constantly like, oh, can I make another appointment? I just, like if you're in escrow, oh, I just want to see it again, and oh, I just want to take some measurements, because I think that does a pretty good job of even the measurements. I know it's not probably 100% accurate, but I mean, it's pretty close, right?
It's really close, yeah. So we always say, the measurements are approximate, not exact. But with the technology, the LiDAR scanning, nowadays it's getting better and better. So the measurements are you can really rely on them.
Yes. So, okay, awesome. Well, if you're a realtor out there listening in and you want to check out Isaiah and Red Heifer Productions, you can find his portfolio on Instagram. That's actually where we found him. And then his website is redheifer.com. It's REDHEIFER.com.
And just add productions right after Heifer. And so, redheiferproductions.com.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Not a problem. Yeah. And you can also reach us too. Feel free to give us a call, 831-713-9797.
Perfect. And you text also, right?
We also text.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, thank you so much, Isaiah. Thank you for coming in. Do you want to add anything else?
Monica, you didn't ask him the best question of all.
What's that?
How did you name your company?
Yeah, that's a great question. I feel like that might even be an episode on its own, So I don't want to take up too much of Monica's time.
No, go for it. Tell us. It is unique.
So, there's a couple of reasons. One, the red heifer is an extremely rare animal. And so for one, for us in real estate marketing, we want to be marketers that really set agents apart in their listings in that way, giving them a very distinguished factor. And so, the red heifer also, so we are, a husband and wife team, and we're Christian. And so the red heifer plays a lot into our worldview as Christians. Yeah.
Very cool.
Thanks for the question. Yeah, behind the scenes question. Always love them.
I remember when Christina told me like red heifer, I was just like imagining, I don't know, something else.
Sure. Hey, we've thought about rebranding, but I think at this point we're going to just really ride that one out until we get more questions like in the back there.
Perfect.
I love the name, actually.
Me too. It's like so Santa Cruz.
It does have Santa Cruz vibes to it. Yes, it does.
Okay, well, let's take a commercial break. When we come back, I want to hear from you. The number to call me now here at the station is 831-479-1080 for Selling the 831, a real estate talk show with me as your host, Monica Wason.
What's that? You say you can't get it up. Oh, it goes up and you can't get it down. It only goes halfway up. Okay, we are talking about your garage door, right? Well, you called the right place. I'm Eric. Me and my crew at Lighthouse Door Company, we specialize in garage door repair and all types of garage door and opener installations. We've proudly served the Monterey and the Santa Cruz area since 2005. From basic metal garage doors to custom wood garage doors, we do it all, and we do it at a fair price. And if you mention KSCO, we'll even give you a 10% discount. You can call or text 831-655-1419. We look forward to working with you. 831-655-1419. Call or text Lighthouse Door Company 831-655-1419. We look forward to working with you.
Give me a ticket for an aeroplane Ain't got time to take a fast train.
Okay, we're back. Okay, let's continue our discussion, and let's go back to when we were talking about the price. All right, let's talk about price reductions. So price reductions do a few things. It alerts buyers that have set up their online real estate sites to alert them somehow if anything comes up in their price range. So by reducing your price, they've now been alerted to your listing. Now, you potentially could get a new pool of buyers looking at your property that never even saw it when it initially went on the market because it was out of their price range. So if you're going to reduce, keep this in mind. When buyers get pre-qualified, the lender usually pre-quals in quarter increments. So they may get pre-qualified for 700, 725, 750,000. So reduce the same way, either a quarter, half, or three-quarter increment. So for instance, if your home has been on the market at 800,000 with no takers for over a month, and then do a reduction to 775 or 750 so that you may get a larger pool of new buyers. Of course, as we talked about earlier, this will depend on the value of homes in your neighborhood, current market, and buyer demand, and your realtor will be able to help guide you on this. So again, most buyers are typing in those real estate search engines for homes that are in the price range for what they are qualified for. Whether it's from a newly listed home or a home that's been reduced, if it's in their price range, they'll get the alert. So when you, the seller, do a price reduction, and it's now in that buyer's pre-qualified price range, they're seeing your home. What also happens when you do a price reduction is it recycles your property on the MLS. So it brings your listing to the forefront of what us realtors are looking at. So remember that buyer's agent that put your overpriced property in their wait and see column? Well, now, after your price reduction, they can let their client know about your property. Some sellers will just reduce by $1,000 or $5,000 because they really don't want to reduce, but they want to recycle the listing online. That strategy may work, but if it doesn't, then you'll end up doing a second price reduction. With every reduction you do, that can be seen online by your potential buyers. And what I believe is multiple price reductions give a negative perception about your home. A buyer may see your home being actively listed for a long-ish period of time, then to top it off, a couple of price reductions. This may get them thinking, what's wrong with that home? So if you must reduce, make it smart and make it significant. So it's your only price reduction. I myself have been in that hot seat where the seller wanted to dictate the price, and I gave him the laundry list of reasons why we don't want to price high, all of what I mentioned here in the show. He felt so strong that his price would prevail, so what I did was I suggested, and what he agreed to, was setting the listing at his price. And if we had a slow open house and no bites after 2 weeks, we do a reduction to my price. This seemed to be the best compromise. I wrote this plan up in our listing agreement, so after the 2 weeks, I could automatically do the price reduction without having to ask or redo our conversation. So to recap, basically in a nutshell is this. If your home is priced too high, you run the risk of deterring buyers. When that happens, you may have to lower the price to try and reignite interest in your house. But be aware that a price drop can be seen as a red flag by some buyers who will wonder what that means about your home. Okay, 831-479-1080 to chime in. Again, that's 831-479-1080 for selling the 831. Okay, talking to the sellers. If your home has been on the market for over a month and you've looked online and you believe your house is priced well compared to the others, or compared to the other homes that are located in the same neighborhood, but it doesn't present well as far as the photos, maybe they were taken by a cell phone or the photographer didn't use any equipment to balance out the lighting, then talk to your agent about retaking the photos. Other unpleasant details to consider that may result in your home not receiving offers after about a month would be, could your home use a decluttering? Maybe it's vacant. Could it use some staging? Or if your home is on the outskirts of town and you feel the distance may be an issue, then ask your agent about the virtual 3D walkthrough, what Isaiah and I were just talking about. COVID made the 3D walkthroughs almost a necessary tool. Before that, they were rarely used, and now it's pretty expected. Okay, let's continue to dive into this. If your house is currently for sale, it's been on the market in that median range of 46 days, and your realtor priced the house according to the comps and the market value, and you have great online presence as far as photos, you have a 3D walkthrough, maybe you even have a drone video, but still no bites, then what do? I suggest looking at your curb appeal. If buyers have seen your property online and were interested enough to make that next step to do a drive-by, then try to look at the exterior of your home with the point of view of the buyer. Okay, so we know rates are higher, and today's buyers are looking at homes where they don't need to invest more money into something like the yard. Curb appeal doesn't have to be expensive, but it needs to look appealing. If you have dead plants or lots of leaves in the yard or torn screens, or could the front of your home use some touch-up paint? Is the garage door or front door faded? Maybe either one of those could use a fresh coat of paint. Sometimes we get so used to seeing the front of our home that we don't see what may be considered a flaw or even ugly to a potential buyer. On the flip side, if there is no curb appeal, but everything seems to be nice and tidy, then consider buying a few welcoming items to your front door area, such as a nice potted plant, maybe get a new porch light. If you have room for maybe a nice bench or a pillow with a pop of color, in other words, items that make people smile or say, ooh, I like that. You need to have something intriguing to make buyers want to think, I could live there. But if it doesn't make the buyer want to stop the car, they'll just keep driving. Speaking of curb appeal, I want to thank my sponsor, Lighthouse Door Company. A new garage door is a fantastic way to get curb appeal. Just think that what's usually the first thing you see when you pull up to someone's home? Their garage. And a new garage door offers one of the largest returns on home improvement investments. 85% of that investment actually can be returned. So think of that. Selling the 831 is broadcasting live. Right now, we'd like to take a commercial break. If you're just tuning in, this show is called Selling the 831, and we'll be right back.
Garage door open.
Betty, I don't feel good.
Come on, yo, garage door, you never feel good.
Betty, call someone. I don't feel good.
Okay, I'm calling Lighthouse Door Company. My garage door is sick. Okay, well, we're here to help. Let's see this old door. Okay, I think that's all it needed. Just a little bit of service. Call us anytime, Lighthouse Door Company. We repair garage doors, we install new garage doors, and we do it all at a fair price. We've been serving the Monterey and Santa Cruz County since 2005. Lighthouse Door Company. Call us, 831-655-1419. Lighthouse Door Company, 831-655-1419.
Hi, we're back. If you're just tuning in, the show is called Selling the 831. It is being broadcasted live here every Thursday from 2 to 3 p.m. with me as your host, Monica Wason, your realtor. If you're wanting very specific information on your home, you can call or text me, Monica Wason. My cell phone number is 831-241-1236. That's 831-241-1236. I'll be happy to schedule an appointment with you, leave a very clear voicemail, or you can text. Just so you know, during the show, I do not have my cell phone on me, but I will check messages afterwards. You can also go to my website, sellingthe831.com, and there is contact information on there as well. Hey, we're talking about today's market and ways to help you sell your home. The market had cooled over this past year, but if you're thinking of selling, you haven't missed your window. So just to recap, if your home is overpriced, you'll price out potential buyers. It will sit on the market longer. You'll spend more money continuing to pay that mortgage payment. And when you do multiple price drops, it may send the wrong message to the buyer. Here's what today's seller needs to consider. Be willing to negotiate. At the peak of the pandemic, sellers had all the leverage, but today's buyers have options. So you may see more buyers requesting an inspection, repairs, or help with closing costs. Also, price your home at market value. Today's higher mortgage rates mean buyers are being more cautious about their budgets. Pricing your home at market value, A, attracts more buyers, and B, gives you a faster sale. Lastly, think about your first impression on buyers. In other words, make your home attractive. Earlier, I mentioned the millennial buyer as our largest group of buyers today. Their top motivator is that they believe the cost of renting is too high. Millennials use a lot of digital platforms. They appreciate high-quality photos and video content. If your home for sale isn't on Instagram or TikTok, then have someone put it on those free sites. A huge misconception is that millennials can't afford to buy your home. Well, there's research out there that millennials now earn more than young adult households did at nearly any time in the past 50 years. A recent article I read said millennials may be the most educated generation in our nation's history. Because of that, they tend to earn higher wages, and that translates to greater home buying power. And since wages are one of the key things that factor into affordability, when it comes to buying a home, these higher earnings help millennials achieve their home ownership goals. Forbes magazine explained that at about 80 million strong, millennials currently make up the largest share of home buyers, which is 43% in the U.S. So chances are this is your target market. So make sure your marketing campaign on your home appeals to them. The number here at the station is 831-479-1080. And does anyone have any opinions on anything that I've said? In the beginning of the show, I started off with the listing appointment, assuming that the seller already had a realtor. But in case you're looking for a realtor, how do you choose one? It's also a good idea to interview realtors. Pick them by asking people you know whom recently bought or sold a property. A lot of people know a realtor. Maybe you have a friend who has a real estate license or family member, but sometimes working with someone you know isn't always the best. Okay, I have a call. Let me get to the phones. 1 second.
That's Marco.
Marco, okay. Hi, Marco.
Hello, thank you for the show. I'm enjoying it and I'm learning.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah. So I have a question. I've got a home in one of these active adult resort communities in Arizona.
Okay.
And it's very well run, very well managed. It has its own website where there's homes for rental and homes for sale and all about the whole place. So there's tons of demand. In a situation like that, is it an alternative to just do a FSBO and then just use an attorney, for all the paperwork?
Is it a rental or tenants in there?
It's a snowbird rental.
Okay.
There's maybe 50 or actually maybe about 75% of the community are permanent residents, retired, and maybe 25% of the community are snowbird renters.
And then do you live in California and this is a property you own in Arizona?
Correct. I live here in Santa Cruz.
Got it. So if you did do a FSBO, how would you schedule appointments for buyers to be able to view the property?
Oh, I could put a lockbox on, and my neighbor right across the street would be more than happy to show it to anybody.
Okay. People do sell their own homes. I believe, obviously, because I'm a realtor, that we're better at it. But, so, if it's a desirable, community and you feel that you don't really need to put extra effort into marketing it or trying to sell it, chances are you will have maybe as soon as the word gets out in that community, you might already have a buyer because one of the neighbors might want to move, somebody that they know in there. The only risk you're taking by representing yourself is doing all the paperwork, and maybe you're not sure exactly what Arizona law is. I get it. You said you would hire a lawyer.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. But lawyers, in my opinion, just make sure that they have all the correct paperwork to file. Agents look at the paperwork and ensure that you have filled it out. They'll ask you, probably more questions just to try to make sure that you're disclosing everything that you can. Sometimes sellers don't really know. Oh, I don't know. I should have disclosed that. I wasn't sure I should have disclosed this. So that's where a realtor comes in. A lawyer might not take that extra effort to just make sure. Right, because that's where you'll get into trouble. I'm not sure what the statute of limitations is in Arizona, but if you sell a house and then a year or two down the line, that buyer might be upset with you because you failed to disclose something. You could still be looking at a lawsuit.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And if you hire an agent, they take that burden upon them.
Right. Okay. Well, I'll consider your opinion on that. And I'm not putting it up for sale anytime soon. But I thought it was a legitimate question given the high demand and the community website and neighbors. We've had 3 renters who bought right after they finished renting with us, bought in the community. So like I said, there's quite a lot of demand.
Right. No, Marcos, that is a great question, and thank you. Thank you for listening, and thank you for calling in.
Thanks for the show. Bye-bye.
Bye. Hey, Bill, we got one.
I had no doubt you were going to get phone calls. I think people listen to the program and you give so much information that they want to hear what you're saying and not interrupt you.
You know what? That is exactly what somebody told me. They were like, because the other day I'm like, I only got one call. And that was the feedback I got. Well, it's so interesting. Like, I just want to listen, just driving and listening. So,
your guest was very interesting for me because the last time I was at my house in Clear Lake, I took pictures all through the house, just so I could know what was there, and
Sure.
And I realized in looking at my pictures, they're awful. No, really, they are.
Same with me. I've done the same thing. I've gone to sites, and just so I can remember, I'll take a picture or take pictures for my buyers if I'm previewing a home, and yeah, they're awful. They come, you think they're good because you're looking at it through your phone, but then you're sending them like, these are.
What I noticed was they don't represent the size of the room or anything. I guess it was the angle I took them at. I have no idea, but they're awful. The only ones that look good are the ones outside.
Yeah. So, that's why we get people like Isaiah to do it
Precisely
for us.
Why I brought this up, because the whole idea about using the LiDAR and about getting the exact dimensions of the room, and it makes a little dollhouse thing, that is so cool to think about.
It's super cool. It kind of
must make your job way easier.
It actually does.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I love technology now.
Well, there's some technology I can do without.
True.
The self-driving car scares me. I'm not staying away from that. But real estate technology is kind of cool.
Okay, well, looks like my time is almost up. I want to thank everyone for listening. I'll be broadcasting live on KSCO 1080 AM radio every Thursday from 2 to 3 p.m. FYI, I'm also for hire. If you'd like me to represent you in your real estate transaction, feel free to contact me. My cell phone's 831-241-1236. And next week, I have a special guest, Ricky Suarez, mortgage loan originator. Ricky and I have worked tons of deals together. He'll have lots of good information on loan programs. And we'll be focusing a lot on first-time home buyers, so get your questions ready. He'll be taking your mortgage question calls. Okay, this is Monica Wason, your realtor, signing off until next Thursday.
KSCO Santa Cruz.